Hello everyone, my name is Trump and I'm a member of Group 8 and here are my team members. Today I will present chapter 13. To begin, I will explain why human resources is important. It has three reasons. First, as various studies have concluded, it can be a significant source of competitive advantage. And that's true for organizations around the world, not just US firms. Second, human resources management is an important part of organizational strategies. Achieving competitive success through people means managers must change to they think about their employees and how they view the world relationship. Finally, the way organizations treat employees. The the way organizations treat employees has been found to significantly impact organizational performance. For instance, one study reported that improving work practice could increase market value by as much as 30%. Another study found a positive relationship between work practice and the ability of the organization to efficiently adapt to changing and challenging markets. Work practice that lead to both high individual and high organizational performance are known as high performance work practice. That includes self-management teams, decentralized decision making, training programs to develop knowledge, skill, and ability, flexible job assignments, open communication, performance-based compensation, staffing based on person job and person organization fit, extensive employee involvement, giving employees more control over decision making, and finally is increasing employee access to information. To meet the objective, manager rely on each activity in the graph. The first three activities ensure that competent employees are identified and selected. The next two involve providing employees with up-to-date knowledge and skill, and the final three ensure that the organization retains competent and high-performing employees. Before we discuss the specific activity, we need to look at external factors that affect the human resources. And my partner will talk about it in the next part.
Thank you for Tom's part. My name is Sung. Now I will continue with the session of external factors that affect human resource management, including the economy, employee labor unions, governmental laws, and demographic trends. First is about economic elements. The global economic downturn has left what many experts believe to be an enduring mark on human resources management practices worldwide. For example, in the United States, jobs are coming back slowly but are not the same ones employees were used to. Second is about the labor union. It means an organization that represents workers and seeks to protect their interests through collective bargaining. Through it, many human resource management decisions are detected, which usually define things such as procurement sources, criteria for hiring or promotion. However, work stop or labor dispute are some challenges that organizations and managers may face. Third, laws and rulings are also some external factors. An organization's human resource management practices are governed by a country law. A number of important laws and regulations affect what they can and cannot do legally as a managers. So trying to balance it often falls within the realm of affirmative action, which means organizational programs that enhance the status of members of protected groups. And legislation will require companies to practice representative participation. There are two most common forms. Work cultures mean groups of nominated or elected employees who must be consulted when management makes decisions, while board representatives mean employees who sit on a company's board of directors and represent the interests of the firm's employees. And last, about demographic trends, in the 21st century, the demographic will be notable as changes in racial and ethnic composition, an aging baby boomer, and last is an expanding cohort of Gen Y workers.
Thank you, Sung. And now I will discuss the tasks associated with identifying and selecting competent employees. So there are three tasks that organizations can do to get talented people. The first task is human resource planning, which is the process by which managers ensure they have quality people in the right places and at the right time, while avoiding manpower shortages or surpluses. And it requires two steps. The first step is to inventorying current assessment. In this process, manager needs to do job analysis, job descriptions, and job specifications. So, for example, this is a job advertisement for teaching assistant positions in Apollo English Centers. I think after Apollo managers do job analysis, they can create job descriptions and requirements for these positions so that candidates can based on them to find that whether they are suitable for the position or not. And the second step is to meeting future human resource needs, which are determined by the organization's mission, goals, and strategies. The second task of human resource process is recruitment and recruitment. Recruitment is the process of locating, identifying, and attracting capable applicants. And there are different recruitment sources managers can use to find potential job candidates, and they are shown on the table in here. On the other hand, recruitment is an approach to reducing an organization's workforce. And here are some recruitment options to controlling labor supply. The last task of human resource process is selections, which is the process of screening job applicants to ensure that the most appropriate candidates are hired. And selections involve rejecting which applicants will be successful if hired. A decision is correct when the rejection is right, and the problem when rejecting candidates who would have performed successfully on the job called reject errors, and the opposite of reject errors is accept errors. Selecting device need to valid and reliable, and there are different selection tools such as applicants forms or interviews. So now I will invite Win to continue the presentation.
Hi, my name is Wing, and next we're talking about how employers should provide their workers with necessary skills and knowledge. Firstly, orientation means introducing a new employee to his or her job and the organization. There are two types of training. The general type are some skills that are necessary in all majors, for example, communication skills, computer system application, and programming, and technological skills and knowledge. While the specific types of training will go in detail what exactly the people need to do in particular position. For example, creativity, customer education, team building, safety, leadership, so on. And there are also two methods of training that are traditional and the modern ones that based on technology advance. Many organizations know now switching to the technology-based training methods. However, the traditional training methods will rely mostly on the face-to-face approach, for example, mentoring and coaching, classroom lectures, while the technology-based training methods will rely on the development of technology, development of multimedia, for example, video conferencing, e-learning, mobile learning.
Thank you so much. Now I will continue my group presentation with L14.5, retaining competent, high-performing employees. So in order to let the employers know whether the employees are performing their jobs effectively and efficiently, they used a performance management system. And these systems use different type of performance appraisal method to analyze the employee's performance. So there are 7 of them. So the first one, I have the written essay, which is to prioritize the evaluator writing ability, which is very easy to use, but might neglect the other skills. So the next we have the critical incidents, which will focus on critical behavior, which will give the rich examples, but it could be time consuming and lack of quantification. The third one we have the graphic rating skills. That will rate employees on each factors, which will give the quantitative data and not time consuming, but it will not provide in-depth information. So then the next we have the BRAS, the bars, which will combine elements from the critical incident and also the graphic rating skills. They will be specific and it could be time consuming and difficult to develop. So the next we have the multi-person comparisons. This will rate in comparison to others in a work group, so that it will raise the competitiveness, but it will be difficult in large group and there are legal concerns. So the sixth, we have the MBO, which will rate employees based on how well they accomplish specific goals. It will focus on goals and result oriented, but it can be time consuming. And the last one, we have the 360-degree appraisal. This will utilize feedbacks from other people so that it can be throughout, but it can be time consuming. So there are several factors that influence the compensation benefit packages. So the managers could use the job-based and business industry-based, or they can use the skill-based pay and variable pay, which will be focused on the next slide. So we will differentiate the skill-based pay system and the variable pay system. So the skill-based pay will reward employees for the job skills and competencies they can demonstrate. So the variable pay will evaluate employees on an employee's compensation of contingent on performance. So that is the end of my presentation. I will transfer this to my next friend.
Thank you. Now we conclude this chapter by looking at some contemporary human resource issues facing today's manager. First is downsizing. Downsizing, or layoffs, is the planned elimination of jobs in an organization. When an organization has too many employees, which can happen when it's faced with an economic recession, declining market share, to aggressive growth, or poorly managed operation. One option to improve profits is to eliminate some of those excess workers. However, managers should pay attention because some HR experts suggest that a cost associated with mass layoffs is the damage they can cause to long-term growth prospects. So how can managers best manage a downsized workplace? They can communicate openly and honestly, follow appropriate laws regarding severance pay or benefits, provide support or counseling for surviving employees, or even resign roles rationally. It means that according to individuals' talent and backgrounds. The second issue is about sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is a serious issue in both public and private sector organizations. Sexual harassment is any unwanted actions or activity of a sexual nature that affects an individual at workplace. The sequence are that it creates unpleasant workplace, even hostile work environment, and undermines workers' ability. So what can an organization do to prevent sexual harassment? Experts advise having a clear written detailed policy with specific about what is not allowed and how to report any sexual harassment incidents. So organization are controlling HR costs by controlling employee health care costs through employee health initiatives, and controlling employee pension plans by eliminating or just limiting them. So that's all for our presentation. Thank you.